M is for Mason.
G is for Graham.
B for Betcha.
This is the MGB Wrestling Podcast, the podcast with PG-rated material accessible to wrestling fans of all ages.
My name is Graham Bagshaw, and my co-host and creator of this podcast is proof that wrestling fans live with their parents. My 10-year-old son, Mason. Okay, this is episode A5 of our Nova Pro review. This is from the Commonwealth Cup, which was from June 8th and June 9th of 2018. Now, we've actually got a crazy number of podcasts to record in the next few days, and we have done in the last few days as well. We're going to England in the next few days, and we intended doing 3 podcasts, 3 sessions, 3 podcasts. And we're also appearing on a podcast in England on tomorrow, and we've also got to record our episode before we go to England. And we've just finished in the last few days the 3 episodes for while we're going to be away as well. So what we decided to do is we're going to this is not going to be our normal episode. This is just going to be, I guess, basically us going over the matches, pretty much. We won't be offering as many comments, and basically because we didn't take as many notes. We started to, and I was like, we can't do this. It's too much. And trying to edit 3 podcasts in time as well wasn't going to work. So we're going to go through the card as we would normally do. We have certain matches, though, that we really do want to talk about, though. So we'll definitely go into more detail on those. And some of the other ones, it'll be probably quick comments. So Normally, I think even on our short matches, we normally spend at least 3 minutes. I'd normally talk about who they face last, win-loss ratio, little things I found on Twitter. And I don't have as much for this one. So anyway. All right, let's get started then. So the first one, this was from Friday. Doors opened at 7:30. And then the pre-match started around 8 o'clock, I think it was. That's about 7:45. And this was session 1. So this was the men's qualifying, I guess, for the finals of the Commonwealth Cup. So in match 1, we had Solo Darling and we had Bobby Shields. Okay, all right. Do you have anything for this one, Mason?
I just had that Solo's music hit, and then Bobby came out. And then, so Bobby went in the ring, and Solo was holding Officer Magnum, and she was holding him, and his arm was kind of sticking out, and he was walking by, and so I gave him I put my hand out, and then, and then he walked by. He didn't try to claw me or anything. Oh, no, I'm sure he wouldn't. Nice dog.
He's a lovely dog. I think the idea was he was supposed to give him a stroke.
I know.
But that's fine. You can get a high five from him. And I thought you were going to miss that for a minute. I was like, all right, he mentioned Bobby Shields. He's not going to mention it at all. Now, actually, we got spotted because this is on the pre-show. So this is on Facebook Live. I'm trying to remember what other things it's on. I guess Powerbomb TV, but for free. YouTube as well. And we actually got a comment at the Blade Job Show saw us. He said, hey, at Mr. Bagshaw, is that the back of your head? Also got a love at Solo Darling. And he was right on both counts. Yes, it was the back of my head because I checked when we came home. And you got to love Solo Darling as well. I thought it was a really good match. And I didn't actually put down the winner for this one. This is how few notes we actually took. Oh, she did? Yeah. And I thought actually, so not a good start then for the gated community then. I know they didn't have a great weekend as we're going to find out. But I'm going to say I totally lost track of notes on this fairly quickly, which was not a good sign. All right, and I have Bobby Shields won Solo Darling on here. I actually did look fine. I found some results, so it says it was by a pinfall, after a gory bomb. I guess that's one of his signature moves. I didn't know that one. All right, let's move on to match 2 then, since we started terribly. All right, match 2. This was Travis Huckabee versus Bro Keller. Travis Huckabee, I think, is who you called Huckleberry last time, Mason, if I remember correctly.
I have it down as Hucklebee.
It's Huckabee.
Huckabee?
There was a politician who used to run for president whose name was Huckabee as well, Mike Huckabee. I think it's the same spelling.
I want to keep calling it Hucklebee. I like that.
All right, you can call him Huckabee. All right, sure. What have you got for Huckabee then?
Travis and Bro Keller, they're on the top rope, and then they kind of fall off in there. And then Bro Keller, he lands on his feet, and suddenly Travis, he's in a power bomb, and Bro Keller has him in a power bomb. He catches him like that when they fall off the top rope, when he gives him a power bomb.
I seem to remember, and I didn't remember it was from that match, but I remember one of those where he caught him, and it's like, whoa, that was a good strike.
Yeah.
Now, I actually like Travis Huckabee a lot. I thought when we first saw him against, we saw him Wheeler Yuta last time. I can't remember who he was in the first time in the sink or swim tryouts.
I thought it might have been Solo Darling.
No, not in the tryout show. And I really like him. I think he's a good technical wrestler.
Yeah.
Now the thing I didn't like him, I don't like his little heel movements when he ruffles somebody's hair, because he did that with Wheeler, and then he did the same with Bro Keller as well. I guess that's just his little thing to wind him up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he's too good of a wrestler to need to do that. I would rather see him be a full-on babyface and go with that. Bro Keller, I like Bro Keller as well. He definitely gets the crowd pumped up. He does his fist pump. It's like
he goes with the camera and then he sits on the second rope and he's ready, and then he pushes his hand up and down I was gonna say it's like Zack Ryder with his woo.
You're right, and you're demonstrating that perfectly.
Except he doesn't walk quickly.
And my thought was, when we've waved at truck drivers before with Jackson, and they pull on the horn, they do the same sort of thing. Where you do the go with that and they do that same arm motion as well. But yeah, big fan of both of those two. And actually for this one, Bro Keller actually won in the end. It says it was a pinfall, and it was a delayed powerbomb that I got from this one. All right, match 3. Now this was actually kind of an important one. Now this originally, I believe, was actually supposed to be today on Sunday, as we're recording right now. We knew that Isaiah Frazier, because Coach Gator talked about it, was going to be facing Nick Aldis for the NWA Championships. And then I saw posted on Sunday, Nick Aldis was going to be facing, and I'm not sure, it must be Mac Buckler.
Yeah.
And and then it was like, whoa, hold on a second, but what if Isaiah Frazier wins? And they said, well, okay, whoever wins this match will face Mac. And suddenly, when we got there on Friday, it was like, oh, no, we're going to do that today. It's going to be Isaiah Frazier versus Buckler. And then the winner, I'm not sure, is it Buckler or Butler?
Buckler.
It is Buckler. Okay, I had it written down. I have it written down like that, and I was like, oh, hold on, is it Buckler? And I've just made a mistake. So, so they decided those two were going to fight first, and then the winner gets to face Nick Aldis on the Saturday.
Oh.
Now, I had a problem with that. Now, they also put up the Crab Wrestling Championship for that as well, to get the chance to get through that. My problem with that is, it was tough enough for Isaiah Frazier anyway to try and beat Nick Aldis. He has an extra match now. He only has 24 hours to recover before he faces Nick Aldis, even if he wins. Whereas if he'd faced him on the Saturday, he would have been a lot fresher. And if he did have that match, I think he could deal with Mac Buckler much easier than he could deal with Nick Aldis after facing a match before. So that was one thing I had for this one. All right, what do you have for this one then, Mason?
Yeah, I had that Mac was under the ring, and then Isaiah was trying to get him, and then Mac, he yanked his arm, and then shoulder went straight into the bar under the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that.
Those guys like going under the ring. If you remember, Josh Fuller hit under the ring during the, the Dominion Rumble?
Yeah.
So that's something that they like to do. And we haven't even talked about Josh. Josh was there again.
Yeah,
he was doing his normal whining and complaining and all the stuff that he normally does. He didn't actually interfere in the match, which really surprised me. I would have thought with a match of this importance that he probably would have done something.
He did make a good part of one of my moments right now.
Oh, go ahead.
So Mac Buckler, he put Isaiah in an armbar, and then Josh Fuller yelled to him, "Rip that arm off, I need the protein."
I remember hearing that, and I'd forgotten which match. There were so many matches this weekend that some of them started to blur into each other. Now, so anyway, Isaiah Frazier did win, which wasn't unexpected, so he did get to face Nick Aldis. Now, there was one twist I'd forgotten about this when I did something I did right now. A masked man actually came out at the end of that match and took out Josh Fuller.
Yeah.
I don't know who that was. I didn't understand any of that at all. Any ideas?
Last match, the Old Dominion Rumble, I think he tagged with Isaiah Frazier, and it was one other person, but I couldn't remember.
It was from that.
Yeah, and they were versing, two other people, and they were versing Mac Buckler, Josh Fuller, and the Mason Dixon line.
Oh, okay, and I couldn't make that connection at all. I'd totally forgotten who that was.
I actually think Eric Royal was in that match, too.
Not sure. Now, my interesting point for that one is, and I lose track of the masked man. Now, I also pointed out from that same, from the Rumble as well, Jean-Jean LeBon. What happened to that story? Now, it looked like that was going to be a big thing. Now, I don't know. I thought afterwards, because I mentioned this to you briefly before we recorded, because Gunnar Miller was part of that story as well. And then Gunnar Miller got injured and had to withdraw from this tournament. So I'm not sure if that was related. I thought he was going to get brought up last thing, but the threat of joy. And it wasn't brought up there either. Now, I know the gated community offered a reward as well for information leading to who Jean-Jean LeBon was in this match. So, yeah, another strange little thing that I wasn't sure exactly what happened in that one. So, not really sure. But yes, Isaiah Frazier did go on to face Nick Aldis, and we'll talk about that when we get to session 3. All right, match 4. This was the end of the pre-show, so I think we took a little short intermission for the benefit of Powerbomb TV, and then we went on to the main card. All right, so the first match in the first round of the Commonwealth Cup was Eric Royal and Logan Easton Leroux. And Eric actually got to choose his opponent because he won the Rumble. And he chose Logan Easton Leroux. So this one had been set up. And this was also a repeat of the final from the 2017 Commonwealth Cup, which I actually went back and watched Thursday because I wasn't sure I wasn't getting enough wrestling this week, so I decided to watch one more tournament as well. All right, what do you have for this one, Mason?
I had that Logan, he suplexed Eric 3 times.
Yeah.
German suplex?
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Oh, he's a big guy. That was really impressive, yeah.
And Eric Royal won, and then he did a yay in Teflon Don's face.
He did, and those two definitely have some rivalry as well. And it wasn't a good weekend for the community. Bobby Shield had already lost, and then Eric Royal lost as well. Gunnar Miller, and Gunnar Miller was injured, so not a great start at all. The only person they had left was Alexander James. Now, before that match started, actually, crowd were yelling, "Ace is going to kill you."
Yeah.
So they were giving Logan a hard time, and I noticed Logan had his sweater back.
Yeah.
Remember the last couple? He didn't have a sweater around his neck. So
did he not wash it?
I don't know. Perhaps it was a bad laundry day. You might be right. But yeah, he got back in character with that one. And actually, Eric responded to that. Are you going to kill him? He's like, I think there's enough violence with Nick Gage already.
Yeah.
And that's true. That was one of the matches that people knew. Nick Gage and PCO. And we'll definitely be talking about that. And I'm not sure if he mentioned PCO or not, but that certainly was the expectation for that match. Towards the end, Stokely Hathaway came out to cut a quick promo, and he was complaining that Catch Point versus the Dream Team is happening everywhere, from Evolve to Beyond to Nova Pro. The second first round match was between Dominic Guarini and Jonathan Gresham. And actually, Jonathan Gresham was the person that came in for Eddie Kingston, who was a late withdrawal. He had a knee injury, I think, and he wasn't sure if he could make it. I think he wanted to see if he could, and then it was decided he couldn't, so he had to pull out for that one. All right, what do you have for this one, then, Mason?
So what I have is Jonathan Gresham. He gets Dominic Guarini in some sort of submission, and his leg is sticking up, and he doesn't have any shoes on. And so Jonathan Gresham, he tickles Dominic Guarini's foot, and then he wipes his hand on the ref's pants.
And I think there was a call as well for one more time as well. I think he got a second tickle, if I remember. And that's the side of Jonathan Gresham I haven't really seen. He was actually smiling a lot on this one. He went along with that. It was a fun side to him, and that was kind of cool that he went along with that as well. I don't have much for this one as well. I kept this one fairly short. I thought it was a good match. I like the technical wrestling that both of those guys do. Dominic Guarini did beat Jonathan Gresham, which to me was kind of a surprise. And Jonathan Gresham actually lost in the first round last year as well, which was also a surprise to me as well.
So I have one more thing. So Dominic Guarini and Jonathan Gresham, they were trading punches for about a minute.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
It was a long, long time. Yep. I would agree with that. And then after that match, Stokely Hathaway hit the ring again. So, but he actually went up and he gave the catch point handshake with Dominic Guarini. Now, I'm not familiar with that catch point. I think that must be from one of the other organizations that they're with. Do you know anything about that?
No. And
I know that Dream Team, we heard them because they attacked Jonathan Gresham in one of the previous ones, so I was more familiar with that one. And the third match from round one was Tim Donst, safety first, and Fred Yehai. Okay, what do you have for this one then, Mason?
So I have that Tim added new people in his safety squad.
He did?
He added West Danger Rogers, Kevin Trash, and Street Sweeper Steve.
And I was struggling to hear those. I recorded it and I posted it on Twitter, and I couldn't hear very well. Kevin Trash you could hear. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
Also, I have Fred Yehai. He kicks the trash can, and all the trash spills out right in front of us, and then they have to clean up all of it and put it in the trash can. Yeah,
no, they were really thorough with that. I thought they did a really good job on that. Now, I also had, on this one, I was really impressed with Fred Yehai, and we haven't seen him in a long time. The way he bounced off that middle rope.
Yeah.
I know you use that to build up speed. I don't think I've seen anybody do that as well as what he did. I'm kind of curious to watch that match again, just to see. It's like he drops down a little bit before he...
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he got some really good action on that. Now, Tim, of course, did his normal safety stuff like he always does. And we almost went full cycle here. He started the safety first thing when his shoelace was undone, and somebody commented on it. And his lace came undone again in this match, and I'm sure that was by accident.
Yeah.
And he went to tie it, and somebody from the audience shouted, make sure you use a double knot. Safety first, of course, obviously. And, it was a good match, very evenly matched. And then, unfortunately, Stokely Hathaway, who we've mentioned 3 times already, came out and actually interfered in the match. Stopped Tim Donst from doing what he needed to do. Fred Yehi capitalized, and Fred Yehi won. Now, I believe that Tim Donst was your pick for this whole tournament at one point, right, Mason? So that went out in the first round. Your other pick for this was who?
Gunnar Miller.
Who didn't even make it into the tournament. And we haven't gone back and looked at the tapes, but you also picked somebody who didn't even make the 16. So you were out of people already. We've only just finished all the first round matches, and you were already out. And I picked Eric Royal, so I still had one person going. Well, at this point. Yeah. Okay, and I think that concludes the first round matches. I don't think I have anything else for this one. Nope. So after this one, they then gave the guys a bit of a break, and they went to some other matches. And the first match was Angela Slane, Tara Calloway, and Veda Scott, and they were facing Alley Cat, Faye Jackson, and Jordan Grace. All right, probably not many comments for this one, Mason. What have you got?
So Angela Slane, she does not want Veda to be on her team. So I think Laurel Van Ness, Chelsea Green, she couldn't get there in time to Nova. So Angela's got to pick a new person, and she picked Tara Calloway.
And I think originally, I don't think it was even that. I think it was a 2-on-2 match.
Oh.
So I'm kind of confused then why they did go for a 3-on-3 match in the end. I'm not sure quite why they did that, but yeah, I was confused by that. And it was a real shame that Chelsea Green wasn't there. We had a personalised Chelsea soccer jersey made up for you with green on the back and a number 1. And she did apologise, and somebody did say on Twitter that she did say she will be back to make up for it. So I'm hoping that that's not talk, and I'm hoping that we'll get to see her. Now, the thing is, with all the people who pulled out on the first day, and I certainly don't blame Eddie Kingston at all. If you're injured, you're injured.
Yeah, you can do it.
There's not a lot you can do about it. And then we found out later there was another name that was missing as well. It didn't make any difference.
No.
It didn't make any difference at all. I don't think anybody felt cheated. And same with AIW when Sid Vicious pulled out. I don't think anyone cared in the end. I think if your product's if you're relying so heavily on one person, then you've got a problem. But I think the whole Nova Pro card is so strong that I didn't miss Chelsea Green at all. I would have liked to see Chelsea Green. Yeah. It didn't bother me in the end at all. I thought it was fine.
We still had some big stars.
We had some huge stars there, and they certainly. I would say, like I said, if you can bring in Gresham, that's not a bad person to have on your bench right now.
And he appears there almost every month.
And he appeared there anyway, and he's one of the strongest
Jordan
people.
Grace, Eric Royal,
all big names. I thought it worked absolutely fine on this. Now the thing I had for this was just really the finish for this one.
Yeah, I like that.
They put the Veda Scott's head that they have. They put it on top of Alley Cat. They gave her a super kick, and then it was 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you got anything else to add.
Yeah, she put it backwards so she couldn't see. Veda Scott, she can see through the glasses.
That makes more sense.
And she put it backwards so Alley couldn't see. And Veda, Angela didn't want her to fight in the match.
Nope.
So Angela, she still has her shirt on the apron, and Veda grabs the shirt and starts wearing it. And then she starts running around the ring, and then Angela gets super mad at her.
And just to antagonize her. And actually, a couple of those people ended up facing Alley Cat later as well. Veda and Angela Slane, and we'll talk about those matches when we get to day 2. First round match that I have is Jimmy Jacobs and Sage Phillips. Now, we actually decided to take our little break at this point. So we went to the bathroom, got some food. Stokely thank you, Hathaway. He was fairly close to us. He was talking. Sanjay Dutt was there.
Yeah.
Because you spotted that, and Logan was over there, so they were all talking together at that point. I'm hoping that Sanjay Dutt can come back and fight soon as well. I really like Sanjay Dutt. So yeah, we got some food at that point, and we sort of watched from the corner. I didn't pay too much attention to this one because I was trying to order and get my stuff in. Do you have anything for this match?
I think that Sage Phillips, he kept chopping Jimmy Jacobs, trying to hurt him, but Jimmy Jacobs, it didn't do any harm. But when Sage Phillips got him in a submission hold, he would just grab the ropes. He was just hanging around the ropes.
Yep.
And then he would just grab it, and still he wasn't in any pain with the submission.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know how, because I was eating my nachos and it was really good. So I just know Sage Phillips.
Those nachos were good. I've never seen so much cheese on top of nachos. I was very impressed by that. And yeah, no, I'd forgotten that part as well. But you're right. Yeah, it was almost like he was doing nothing to him. Jimmy Jacobs didn't seem bothered, and he was doing his normal thing, laying on the top ropes as well, and just sort of lying around. And he has a great character. And I've always been impressed when I've seen him before at Nova Pro and when we saw him at AIW as well. And that was one person whose autograph I really would have liked to get. And he wasn't out at the start. He wasn't out at the intermission. And then at one point, and I don't remember which match it was, so I think he came over because there was a line waiting for him at his table. But we couldn't get out because we were on the front row. And I was like, well, that's fine. We'll go at the end of this match. And then when we turned around, he was gone.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. And I didn't see him on day 2 at all. So Jimmy Jacobs is definitely one autograph we want to try. Well, we saw him, but he wasn't at his merch table.
Yeah, I saw him at session 3 in the bathroom doing his eye blasting.
You get some real good insight when you go to the bathroom on different wrestlers. That could almost be like a regular section.
I always feel super weird when I have to walk right, but after the last Old Dominion Rumble, I used the bathroom, and all the wrestlers, they were walking to the back, and you had to cross that to go to the bathroom, and I had to walk past Logan, Gunner. I felt like one of the wrestlers.
I would have thought they would have had like more than one bathroom. You'd think that, like, I know it's not WWE or anything, but you think they'd have like changing rooms, because you often see the women come in and out of their bathroom as well, and it's like more like a changing room in some cases.
Yeah,
or
it's a Jewish church center.
No, it wasn't. It's the fire center.
I know the Old Dominion.
Oh, the other one. Oh, I'm sorry, the other one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't
fair
need
enough.
two bathrooms in the church. Because you only use it one time.
Well, that's
a
a
week.
community center, so
yeah.
I would have thought you'd. I'm sure there is on the other side, but. Anyway, so no, I don't have much for that one as well. Sage Phillips did win in the end, and so he moved on to the next round. Okay, in match 6 from round 1, we had Tracy Williams, and we had Kurt Stallion. And I think Kurt Stallion was one of the late people. He might have been the one who... Actually, no, he wasn't brought in for Gunnar Miller. I remember who was brought in for Gunnar Miller now. It was Homicide, so we'll get to that later. So I'm not sure. Perhaps Kurt Stallion was supposed to be on the card then. All right, what do you have for Hot Sauce Tracy Williams and Kurt Stallion? And we saw Hot Sauce Tracy Williams actually at the last one because he was in the 3-way match for his title, the Powerbomb TV, with Logan and Gresham, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Logan and Gresham.
Yeah, all right. What you got for this one?
I only have the ending. That's all I really have.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I have the Kurt, he gets a pile driver from Tracy Williams, and it's a 1, 2, 3 for Tracy Williams to advance.
Okay, and the only thing I have is from the reverse of that, right from the start. Right near the start of the match, Kurt Stallion cursed, and Tracy Williams put a move on him, and which hurt him, and someone said, "That's what you get for using foul language, young man." Some of the Nova Pro comments are really good. I like that one. The other ones I heard from the crowd was, "This is awesome," which you often hear, and that's not the reason why I mentioned it. Then somebody shouted as it started to die down, "This is saucy." Alright, in the 7th match from round 1, Homicide, we finally figured out who replaced Gunnar Miller with, and we were excited by that as well.
Yeah.
And we haven't watched Impact Wrestling much the last couple of months because we've just been so busy, but it was something that we did used to watch. And he was facing Bo Crockett. Bo Crockett just can't seem to get a break at all. Everyone was saying that Gunnar was going to win quickly, and then you bring in Homicide as well. Alright, what do you have for this one then?
I have that they're outside the ring right near us, and Homicide has a chair, and the ref won't let him use it, but he pushes it, and so it's not technically
not throwing it.
Yeah, you can't use a foreign object.
Correct.
But he's not really using it, and then he pushes it into Bo's knee.
I like that move.
Yeah.
He actually did it twice.
Smart.
He did it from both sides, and I wanted to call out like strike. But it's not like a baseball strike. It was more like a bowling strike because he sort of hit him and it took him out. And actually, that's the only one I have from that match as well. That was the most memorable thing within that match for me. The only other thing was, as he left the ring, he did say something to you as well. So I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I have 2 other things. So Homicide, he grabs the cord from the Powerbomb TV cameraman, and then he slaps Bo with it.
Oh yeah.
And then he's
And that left some big marks on his back.
Yeah,
you could see
and
that.
he traps Bo in the apron and then he kicks him.
Forgot about that too.
Yeah, Homicide, he told me to stay in school.
He did, and you got confused by that because this was like 10 o'clock at night, and you thought that.
No, I didn't literally mean. I thought he meant tomorrow. Go back to school
on a Saturday.
No.
We just broke up for the summer. This was actually Friday was our last day of school. I finished around lunchtime. I think you finished a little after that. And we got home
finished 12.
We got home a little earlier as well. So so that was because you were a little confused. I was like, look, I don't think he means it literally. I think it's like stay in high school when you eventually get there. But that was cool that he even talked to you. But normally when you say stay in school, it's to older kids because it's like, don't drop out just because otherwise it's not got you. Make sure you stay in school, learn get a good education and things like that. But that was kind of cool that he said that he actually talked to you directly. I thought that was really neat. An Impact wrestler who we knew. we recognize LAX. I thought that was really cool. I couldn't find him on Twitter. I don't know. I tried Googling it, and most people just put the word homicide. They don't tag him or anything. The only one I could find was like homicide_LAX or something. He only had 138 followers. I can't imagine that's the real homicide. I think that's just somebody making that up. And he hadn't posted since 2017 either. So unless he just, I don't know, he might just have stopped posting. And in our 7th match from round 1, we had Alexander James and Wheeler Yuta. So the last person from the gated community was still in the tournament. All right, Mason, what do you have for this?
Better win this one. Alexander James, he's talking trash to this fan's mom. And then there's a chant that rings out, "Burn his mom."
I missed that one. That's a weird chant.
Yeah, that's all I really got from that.
Okay, now I realise I missed the chant as well, actually. Well, not a chant, but I missed some interaction with the crowd. At the end of the Jimmy Jacobs match, I went over to the bathroom, and I don't know what the fan said to him, but he screamed at that fan as he was leaving. He got right in his face, and I'm sure it was all staged and everything, but he totally went off on that fan. I thought it was hilarious. You could really hear it. He was loud. It was totally believable as well. Anyway, for this one, I don't have much except for just pretty much the finish. It was a submission by what I consider a crossface. I saw it listed as a Deathlock STF. The one thing I did like about Alexander James was he had some sort of submission move on Wheeler Yuta. And he said, "Oh, take a bow with me," because we've seen him do that when he bows to the crowd. But he had him in like a wrist lock at the same time, and as he took the bow, it sort of put more pressure on his wrist. And he was like, "Ow!" I thought that was kind of a cool move. I kind of like that he was trying to be polite, but at the same time, he's really hurting his opponent. And we've also got to thank Alexander James as well. We bought the card for him, I think 2 months ago, from the gated community, and that was that he wasn't there. He was supposed to be there, and he wasn't there. So we took it back, and we asked him, "Hey, look, would you sign it for us?" And he was really nice. He signed that for us, and we got a picture with him as well. So you now have a full collection of cards from the gated community. You got all 10 of them. All signed, and it's all looking good. So that was my other thing that I had for this. Last match, 8 from round 1. And this is running really late at this point as well. I think the latest one was the first one we ever went to, which finished about 11:30. And I didn't see the time for this one, but I remember looking at one point, I was like, oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock and there's still 3 matches to go. So anyway, and I think final finish time was about 11:55, I think, when we got into the car at least anyway. So this was the one that everyone had been looking forward to. This is PCO, and I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name exactly, but I'm going to try. Pierre Carl Ouellet. Now, I did a few years of French in school, so I'm going to guess it's that one. Ouellet.
So that's why Eric called him Pierre.
Yes, that was his name. And I guessed. I said, because I know he's French-Canadian. And I said it's very possible the French name is Pierre. And I didn't know what his name was at that time. That was a guess.
I kept thinking it was parents create offense for like their kids, or please create objects to hurt him or something.
You were trying to guess what it was. I knew it was his name, but I just didn't know what his name was. But you were trying to come up with alternative ones as well. And I like doing fun things like that too. And it was against Nick Gage. All right, Mason. I'm sure we've got a few things for this one. I think we'll say this straight away. For me, this was the match of the night. Yep. And I think it was for you too. And I think everyone in the crowd was anticipating this one as well. All right, so what do you have for this one?
At the start of the match, before PCO entered and Nick Gage was in the ring, they haven't even started the match yet, but there's a chant that was like, "We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die."
It was, and that was kind of funny that everybody knew. And we were probably the ones that knew his reputation the least of everybody. Everybody else knew exactly what was coming, and I'd only heard my reputation from what other people had said, but I knew it was going to be a violent match.
Yeah, I saw everybody was freaked out, so I moved back a seat after he started doing some crazy stuff. And when he told me how old he is, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I knew he was 50, and I wasn't sure if he was 50-something, and we checked. He's 50. It's impressive.
Yeah.
He gives everything in that ring. If you wouldn't know that,
no, you
would not know from the effort that he puts in. You would have to assume that he was younger than that. But yes, no, I got that one. And actually, there was another cry which I want to mention as well. Before the match, someone said, "Hey ref, can you keep him in the ring?" Same thing. They were worried about we're gonna get crushed. This could get seriously dangerous. And the ref didn't manage to keep him in the ring. But okay, go on then. Talk us through some of this match.
So they came out to the outside. PCO threw a trash can and it hit Nick Gage in the face. And
that picture, we saw the picture from the person next to us, and they managed to get the perfect picture. It's right as the trash can's hitting his
Yeah.
face. Now, I looked through on Twitter, and it looks like actually Jay Lee Photography took one of those pictures. And it looks like it got shared around Twitter a little bit, but it's absolutely perfect. Yeah.
So Nick Gage, he was where I was sitting before, but I moved back.
You moved,
to see
correct.
it. And PCO, he started running, and I was so scared. I jumped. There was nobody really around me, so I moved out the side.
You
to
were
the
okay
left,
for this one, yeah.
And he jumped.
Yep.
He jumped.
Yep.
And he scooted the seat back.
Yep.
I probably would have got crushed.
I don't think he would have done that if you were there.
I agree.
I think he would have, but you can see it because I actually watched Powerbomb this morning to check because I wanted to see exactly what it looked like. And no, you could see there was a clear space there. You could see, and he aimed for the space.
Yeah.
There was no doubt about it. But no,
That's the good thing about wrestlers.
Yeah, he went full on. Yeah. He definitely gave it some consideration. But I stayed. I put my safety hat. No, actually, that was the following day.
Yeah.
But I stayed there, and I got a picture of them, and you can see my knees, and you can see them both lying right next to me, and it was cool. I thought it was great.
And so Nick Gage, he was back out after that when he threw the trash can in his face. Nick Gage, he had some offense, and he slammed PCO's face in the chair. On one of the fans' chairs, but no fan was sitting there, so he just slammed his face on it.
Yeah.
And then they carried back in the ring.
And they also had an instance where Nick Gage was biting his ear as well.
Yeah.
That was one. We couldn't see everything because someone said to you, "Why don't you stand on a chair?" And you were like, "I'm okay, I can see."
Yeah.
And people were moving all around, and I'm tall, so I could see a little bit over the top. But yeah, we missed a little bit. I actually kind of like that though.
Yeah.
I couldn't see everything, but it was kind of exciting because it's like, what are they going to do next? Where are they going to go next? I really liked it.
When they said stand on a chair, I didn't really want to stand on the chair because people sit on that, and
that's true.
Yeah, and I could see I could see Nick Gage's face. I could see PCO. His hands were outstretched, and I saw a trash can flying. So I could see perfectly fine.
I thought we could see enough.
Him slammed in the face.
Now PCO tweeted, and I looked through a lot of PCO tweets these last few hours because I'm just absolutely lost for words. The guy was amazing. He quoted, "I already lost an eye, and I almost lost an ear tonight." Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't know what that means. I didn't see it.
So that's why when the guy in session 3, he showed everybody a picture around us about PCO when he was in WWE, and he had an eye patch. I thought it was just for looks. How does he have the eye, though?
I don't know.
Oh, and that's why
I gotta pay more attention.
I saw one of his eyelids were down a little more than the other. That's probably why.
So he did lose an eye then.
Oh, and now I notice it. I remember which eye each eye patch was on.
Now I remember seeing the picture as well from that, and I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. I just thought that was a gimmick at the time.
Yeah.
Because people dress up as different characters. I just saw one with Jackson where there was a person that dressed up as a baseball player, but he clearly wasn't a baseball player.
I think he might have had an eye patch too.
He did, and I don't know. So anyway, that's something. That just adds one more twist to his story that I definitely want to know a little bit more about.
How does he have 2 eyes then?
I don't know if he does.
Did he put it back? He
might have a false eye.
Oh, can you still see out of it?
No, you can't see out of it, but it's just more for effect.
But his eye was moving.
I don't know then. I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder if they put it back.
There's more things that I want to know now. Now, I also saw when we came back after night 2 as well. Somebody's putting a documentary together on as well. And I remember retweeting that one and said, I can't wait to watch that. So that guy was filming stuff. So, it was really cool. And this is only just the first part. The story with PCO gets more and more exciting as far as I'm concerned as we move on to day 2. Let's see if there was anything else on here that I don't care. PCO continued with that tweet after he lost an eye. He says, it's, bleep word Nick Gage and PCO don't bleep him care. So he didn't. He did not. He put his body totally on the line for that. And the thing that ended that session was Brian just stepped into the ring, and you could just sort of see it's like, whew, wow, what did we just witness here? And then he uttered an expletive, and then that was the end of day 1.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
The music was Zigzag by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0.